it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. And this one's pretty simple, pretty fun. It's just a few chord shapes, and the verse and the chorus are the exact same chord progression. The only difference is how we strum it. So it's a good opportunity to learn how to do some downstrokes and get used to that. If along the way you find any extra help, I have a bunch of resources. There's my free ebook, which goes over all the basics of chords and strumming and putting that together. There's my complete beginners course, which does that 100 times over, taking you step by step through the entire process and learning songs along the way. I also have a chord chart for this available on my Patreon. And with that out of the way, let's just get started with the chord shapes. First, we have the D chord. And from D, we're going to be switching to G. And I want you to try to play it this way, because that way we can pivot off of our ring finger and it makes the switch a lot easier. So see, I have my D chord, I leave my ring finger down, and I just pivot into a G shape. And you might have to adjust your thumb as you do this. My thumb goes a little bit lower for the G chord, and it comes up a little bit for the D chord. So work that switch out. We also have a different version of G where we go like this. And that's because we're going to be switching between that and F. So if you know the easy F chord, it's the same thing. So we skip the first string, first finger on the first fret of the B string, our middle finger on the second fret of the G string, pinky finger on the third fret of D, ring finger just above that on the A string. And then I have my thumb lightly touching the thickest string. It's not essential, but it helps. And that's the easy F chord. We slide that up 2 frets, 1, 2, and that's G. And the reason why we have to play G in 2 different ways for this song, because it's a lot easier to go than, it's just a bit of an easier switch. So that's why we're doing it that way. And there's also an A chord in this tune. So those are the chord shapes, and let's take a moment and practice them using downstrokes only, just so we can work out the chord progression, the order of everything, and count it out. Starting off on D, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, G, 2, 1, 2, 3. Again, just like that. 1, 2, G, 2, 1, 2, 3. Then we go to this. 1, 2, 3. Back to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the one part that might have caught you off guard is when we switch from D to this version of G. So you might have to practice, just isolate that switch. When I'm making this shape, I go in a certain order. I put my first finger down, then my middle finger, then these two. And I'm consistent. I do it that way over and over again to build up the muscle memory. So D, then doing that. And after a while, you'll be able to put the whole shape down at once. And just as a side note, when we strum the song using downstrokes only, that's a good opportunity, once you're good at that, to practice singing along, before we add the strumming pattern. Anyways, that's the chord progression for the entire song. We just do it in that order over and over again. Now let's take a look at the rhythm. First, we're going to learn the verse strumming pattern, which is all downstrokes. It goes like this. 2, 3, 4. So it's just downstrokes and counting. We start off on the D shape and we go 1 and 2 and. So for beat 1, we're still moving our arm, but we're not making contact with the strings. 1 and 2 and. Then we switch to G and we go 3 and 4 and. So 4 downstrokes on G. Let's just try that part, going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all we have to add to that is switching back to D for a single downstroke. So we would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and again and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so practice it just like that, and make sure you count out all that space at the end of it too, because that's very important. That makes sure that you come in at the right place afterwards, right? And that's the gist of it for the verse. There is that one other part where we're going between G and F, and you can practice that as well. Same deal though, you know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Different chords, but we're still switching in the same places. So practice that one a little bit too. And then on the A chord, there's no switching, but it's the same rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So those are the three things that you have to do. D to G, G to F, and then just the A chord with that rhythm. And when you're ready, we can put that together nice and slow. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1. So that's the verse. All we have left is the chorus. And for the chorus, same chords, but the strumming pattern goes like this. Let's break it up. We start off going down, down, up, down on beat 1, down, up on beat 2. So 3, 4, down, down, up, 3, 4, down, down, up, 3, 4. The second half goes miss, up, down. So we're missing on beat 3, and then we go up, down. And we would count 1, 2, miss, up, down. 1, 2, miss, up, down. So work on each half just like that. And then when you're ready, we can put it together nice and slow. 3, 4, 1, 2, miss, up, down. 1, 2, miss, up, down. Now when we apply this strumming pattern to our progression, we would play it one time on D, once on G, and then 2 times on D. So that's the first couple measures. Then we do that again. And then when we go between G and F, we play it one time on G, one time on F, and then 2 times on G. And then for that A chord part, 4 times on the A chord. You know, and if this confuses you, you can always just watch, see what happens. You know, I'm going to play through the whole thing, and then you can just rewind it and try it with me after. So here we go, starting off on D. 1, 2, 3, 4. basically that's the whole tune. You know, you either do the verse pattern for the whole thing or the chorus pattern for the whole thing. Let's just put that together now so we can work on transitioning between the two parts. We're gonna play the verse, then the chorus, and then go back into the verse. Let's do it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. Going to the chorus. Into the verse. So those are the two sections. When you're putting the song together, the order's a bit different. It's going to be the verse 2 times, then the chorus, then the verse 2 times, and then the chorus a couple times, and that's the whole song. If you need any extra help, don't forget about all my resources. There's my free ebook, there's my complete beginner's course, and the chord chart on the Patreon. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.